There's so much I didn't know when my kids were growing up, especially when it came to gender. I look back at Colin when he was little. Colin was equally happy with dinky cars and Polly Pockets, which was fine by me. I grew up in a family which believed toys were for all kids. When Colin was 4, he got a little toy shaving kit for Christmas, and the first things he did was hop into the bathtub and shave their legs. I figured that was because he didn't have a dad at home and explained that boys shave their faces, not their legs. Colin looked a bit surprised, but followed my instructions. Actually, the first time Colin shaved once puberty hit, Colin shaved her legs, but by then he wasn't using a mop and builder kit. He borrowed my razor instead. I quickly got her one of her own. And then there was dress-up time, which always consisted of Colin getting dressed up in Kate's clothing, never the reverse. Kate would refer to her as Colleen and would pick out the clothes she thought would suit her the best. Both kids loved this game. I think Colin was around 8 or 9 years old when he saw some words written on the west shelter wall and wanted to know what they meant. The words were, "I wish it was a girl." I had no idea what to say, let alone where to start. It was a big topic, but I didn't understand very well. And Colin was standing there watching me expectantly, positive I had the answer. I decided to start with empathy, so I said, "You know how you look like a boy on the outside and feel like a boy on the inside?" Then stopped when I saw Colin's confused expression. So he shook her head and said no. I look back now and marvel at how blind I was, but then I simply figured I'd screwed up my explanation. I went on to explain that most people look like a boy on the outside and feel like a boy on the inside, or look like a girl on the outside and feel like a girl on the inside. But sometimes it's the opposite. When people look like a boy on the outside and feel like a girl on the inside, or vice versa, it's called transgender. Colin listened intently and was heartbroken that we couldn't find the person who wrote the words, so they would know they weren't alone. Throughout this time, Colin would ask how I knew that he would grow up to be a man. I knew he'd been bullied at school, with kids calling Zara he, she, and I was well aware that grown adults were telling Colin he needed to be a man, so I chalked their questions up to bullying. I assured Colin that he didn't need to do anything special in order to be a man, he just needed to grow up, that he could be a man and still love the color pink and long hair and glitter. Each time Colin seemed reassured by my response. A couple of years ago, I became Facebook friends with Lenny. One of the first things Lenny told me is he's transgender and identifies between male and female, using the pronouns he and zer. I had no idea people could be anything but male or female, so this was a surprise. Lenny lives in England, so he'd never know if I was using the right pronouns or not, but it didn't seem fair to use the wrong ones. I insisted the kids use their pronouns as well. It wasn't until last year that Colin began to show signs of discomfort with using male pronouns. He got sent home from school one day for arguing with their teacher about the words boy and girl being opposites. Colin insisted they weren't because he could feel like both a boy and a girl. The teacher argued she was talking about language and not gender, then persisted in telling Colin he was wrong. In the spring, Colin asked for the teacher to explain more pronouns than just male and female, and the teacher refused, claiming she'd only teach invented pronouns if there was a trans student in the class, and then only the pronouns that student was using. Colin wasn't out, so I backed down. They didn't come out until the end of summer. 57% of unsupported trans youths attempt suicide. That statistic drops down to 4% when youths have a supportive family. I'll do anything to make Colin feel supported, up to and including waving pom-poms. Colin assures me that's not necessary. The hard part is how often and regularly Colin gets misgendered. When I taught to Colin's school, their biggest concern was whether Colin's gender identity and pronouns were going to be a distraction in the classroom. They use their pronouns in official documents but call Colin he and him. And I can count on one hand the number of people in real life who consistently use their pronouns. It's so frustrating because people just don't seem to understand how important this is to Colin. If they'd use the right pronouns in front of her even once, they'd see what a difference it makes. Give it a try. They're not hard to use. Thank you.